Really?
Nashville is like.
Nashville's an awesome city.
Yeah, it's kind of like this city.
Yeah, it is.
Right. So Nashville's very cool. It's got a lot of quirky. I love it.
Yeah.
This city is like a combination between between Portland and Nashville.
I've never been to Portland, but I've been to Nashville a few times, and Nashville's one of my favorite cities. But when I moved here, I was like, it's like a hipper version of Nashville.
Yes. Do you know in Nashville, I was performing, and I always ask whenever I go into a city, tell me a place that I can't find anywhere else. Like, I want to know, what about this city? Like, I don't want to go to Austin and eat at Denny's.
Yeah.
And they said, I think it was called like Pirates Alley or something, but I went, they said, go up there and take a look and tell me what you think. And there was a place in Nashville where the sign up front said nude karaoke.
No.
So
did you partake?
I went and I asked the guy at the door, I'm like, just out of curiosity, who's nude? The people sitting in the audience or the people? And he was like, no, when you get on stage, in order to get on stage, you have to be naked.
So you didn't partake in that?
Well, I went in. I mean, who wouldn't go in, right? I mean, I would have been neglecting as a citizen of the United States.
Exactly.
I would have been neglecting my role, my duty. But I went in. Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yep. Not anybody who decides they're going to sing naked. Not great.
No.
It's like nude beaches. Anybody who should be nude isn't nude at the nude beach.
I've never gone to a nude beach. I don't feel like I've heard as many good things.
No.
As I would have expected.
No. When all, I don't know how to put this, but when all the nuts and boobs are hanging at about the same level.
It's not.
No.
I feel like
that's not like that's when you're going eye level for nuts and boobs and they're both at the knees, like that is never a good situation.
I feel like you could just easily go to like a beach in Miami and everyone's naked anyways and it's all beautiful.
Or if you want to see naked, you could just do this thing called the internet. And then you could go to an actual beach where, I mean, the internet has plenty of naked on it. You don't need to go. And it has the disgusting naked of the nude beaches that you want. If you want to see, saggy old people, that's on the internet. I mean, I could tell you a couple websites right now. I bet you could go to saggyoldpeople.com and find something. Google saggy old people. Images. You're going to find everything you need to find. Right. So I don't want to either. But you don't want to see it live, even more importantly.
That was like, I went to Europe like a few years ago just for like a class, and like this is what was funny. It was with like, I went to a Christian high school too, so I was there like with like my Christian high school, and we went to a beach, and the teachers were just so horrified because it wasn't like a nude beach, but everyone was like, and they were all
but the women are
old
topless,
people.
right?
Yeah, like everyone just, but they again, it wasn't like attractive.
No, and you know
there was
what
an old guy in a Speedo.
But there's a lot of Speedos in Europe. I don't. The banana hammock. I'm not
into it.
No. No.
I mean, they just kind of smell a little weird over there.
You look Speedos in the Olympics. 100%.
That's it.
Yeah.
Keep it there.
They should be in the Olympics. I'm on board for that.
You're not swimming fast anywhere.
No, you're at a beach. Do you need to tan your taint? No. So block it up.
Be no.
Block it up. Nobody needs tan taint.
So how long have you even been on tour?
It seems like my whole life.
your whole life. So you're kind of just like a roadie.
I've been on tour for. I can't even answer that. I don't know.
For this tour.
March 8th.
That's a while, because we're already into June.
Yes, I know.
This year has flown by.
Yes, I know. And here's the thing, like, I like and I don't like the things that come with being on tour for this long. I like the freedom it gives me on stage.
In what sense?
Because if I tell a joke that doesn't work, because I'm on stage so much, it gives me the freedom, and I don't know if the audience likes it. I think it adds total honesty. I will say something like, that joke didn't work. Or I'll tell a joke, and it'll work because I know it's one of my good jokes, but I'll say after that joke, I just got to tell you guys, I am so sick of telling that joke, but I'm glad you like it.
Yeah.
But there's a complete freedom and honesty. And also being on tour this much, it forces me to, what I try to do is write 10 minutes about the city I'm in. because I'm so bored with my own voice and my own jokes
Yeah.
that to keep it exciting, I'll write jokes about that city.
So how do you prepare for that? Like, especially, I mean, I feel like if you said that you've been on tour for your whole life, you probably are familiar with a lot of these cities.
Uh-huh.
But, like, how do you kind of research in that sense?
I just do it when I get to the city.
So you just walk around?
Yeah, I do it. I talk to cab drivers. I talk to people who are giving me rides, and I experience a little bit. I mean, one of the things that I'll write about Austin.
You have a lot, I feel like, to work off with the city.
Yeah, there's a lot, and for me, there's also like the fact that you can get a lot of things in Austin, but a cab is not one of those.
Don't.
How you can't get a cab is amazing to me.
And, like, the thing that blows my mind, and I'm like, I feel like it's just like a conspiracy for DUIs because they, like, I like, you know, whatever. I'm from Jersey. Like, we went out in Philly all the time, and it was easier to get a cab there than here.
You
And I'm
can't
just
get a cab here.
And I don't even live that far away from downtown. I'm like, literally, there are bars everywhere. Like, why are we not investing in?
It's
in
drunk
cabs?
people on bicycles.
Which is
There are more
insane.
bicycles and sandals in the city. I am stunned. I mean, I am stunned. Bicycles, cities, and
Horses.
and beards. This is the city of the man with the beard. It is
Mustaches.
amazing.
And dogs.
Handle mustache.
A lot of dogs there.
If this city is just like a bunch of dudes who look like Jesus walking around. There's Jesus everywhere. Sandals and everything. Like, look, there's another one. Oh, hey, there's another one. Oh, hey, there's another one.
Just, like I said, I just moved here a month ago. I'm walking down the street with my groceries. Like down Congress, which is the main street.
Right.
An old guy wearing a Speedo, nothing else. No, it was a thong. He was wearing a thong on a bike, was driving down the road. It did not faze anyone else but me. And I was looking, like, did we miss that? Like, what just happened?
The Speedo doesn't, look, if you're wearing an article of clothing as a man and then.
It was a thong.
Yeah, if you're wearing an article of clothing that somebody can look at you and go, oh, he's not Jewish. Do you know what I mean? Then that article of clothing is too small and too tight. You don't have to censor that. I didn't.
No,
that was
you
innuendo, right?
No,
okay,
yeah,
good. So
you're good.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Like I'm not a fan, especially riding a bike that seems like it would be uncomfortable with a thong.
Like,
It seems like
it
you're wearing.
felt a little risky. Like, it was risky.
Things are gonna
in the
pop
first
out.
place.
Yeah, because you're pumping your legs and you're wearing, and not only that, I don't know how to put this, but with a thong on a bicycle seat, that seems like you're gonna have to clean that bicycle seat.
Oh.
You know, like
so.
if you're moving it around that much, things are. That's not, you know.
I was just happy that it didn't have one of those, like, carriages on the back of it, because that's not a pleasant view.
No.
Like, I turned around and I regretted that decision immediately.
Did he have? You know what? One thing that every man in America, and we don't talk about it enough, but it's a crisis.
Okay.
Old man ass.
That's it. Did.
Do you know what I mean when your ass blends into your back? Yeah, old man ass, you have it?
I don't even have one.
Yeah, old man.
No, he had one.
I think you scratch it off. I think that's what happened.
Old man ass eventually happens to all of us.
Yeah.
And old man ass, I think it's something we really have to address here in this country. I think it's something that really is something maybe. I don't know if we need to bring it to Congress or the UN or something, but old man ass.
FEMA.
Protest.
FEMA really needs to get involved. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm gonna. You know what? I've always wanted a cause.
That's a cause.
Old man ass. Oma.
Can you start?
I think you should start it.
Oma.
We're
starting Oma.
and this is the city where places like that, things like that start.
Yep, Oma. What do you think about that? You could do that in Austin. There's enough people
Oh,
who
yeah.
need a cause, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe Lance Armstrong
Big causes.
could jump on that one.
You could be my right hand man. My
Boom.
right cheek man.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
There you go. All right. See that?
I'm really excited to see this take off.
Money for
Oma.
implants.
We're gonna start Oma here in Austin. Well, how would we? What's a good one besides Oma? Old man ass. It can't be people against old man ass because that's
People for?
Oma. We're not for old man ass.
No, we're not.
Stop old man ass. Soma.
Soma.
Soma's good because that is also a muscle relaxant, and if I could get sponsored by Soma, if I could get free drugs out of also being in a cause, I really think that's multitasking at its best.
Is this something, like, because you're writing a book, too, or you wrote a book?
Wrote a book, yeah.
I was going to say, for your next book, this could be one of your topics.
I agree. I really agree.
Oma.
I went to the CMT Awards this
Did
year.
you?
Yeah,
How's
I'm
that?
big fan. It was amazing. It was in Vegas, and big fan. But it is like skinny jeans. Like Luke Bryan was wearing skinny skater jeans and dancing around doing the Dougie.
Everybody.
Doing the Dougie.
I feel like that was a disaster.
Which one? The Dougie?
Doing a country I was doing the Dougie.
But
Also,
he-
white people doing the Dougie in general, I feel
Uh-huh.
like is never a good thing.
I think the one thing about the Dougie, which it actually may lean towards white people's favor, is it looks uncoordinated anyways.
So.
Do you know what I mean? So all you have to, if
Yeah.
you kind of bend your legs and kind of pretend like you're falling down, you can almost get by.
Brushing your shoulders.
Yeah,
like,
if you pretend like you're drunk and off balance, and maybe that. I mean, I could say something really politically incorrect, but
you can go for it.
yeah, it almost seems like if you just bent your legs and pretended like you had cerebral palsy, you were almost doing, as a white person, could do the Dougie.
Yeah. So this is good for me because I'm a terrible dancer.
Are you?
I mean, I can be good. I'm like good at like
It's
line
all,
dance.
girl, all
and
you gotta
stuff.
do is move your shoulders.
I
Just move your shoulders. a
can't.
little.
Like I'm not. I don't twerk. Nothing like that. You know. Like I don't get ratchet.
You don't have to. You're a good-looking girl. You don't
Thank
have to.
you.
You don't have to. You don't have to be.
I just
a good
I do
dancer.
my thing. I drink in my two-step.
Uh-huh.
Good.
You can also blend in when you line dance. You can blend in.
Oh yeah. I like to do that.
Mhm.
And like for my job, I sometimes have to do club gigs, so I have to like lead those things. So I
Mhm.
actually have to make sure I know what I'm doing.
What's your job exactly?
I'm a radio personality.
Oh, you are. Okay, good.
So
I'm in the right place.
Yeah, you are. You didn't stray anywhere. Do you get like tired and bored doing pretty much like 4 shows of the same material?
Well, I try not to make it the same material. Do I get tired? You know, when people, because they do about an hour, right?
Yeah.
So, there's a certain, I know people look at it and go, well, you're not really doing anything. How do you get tired? It's an you have an hour-long adrenaline spike.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then there's maybe an hour and a half in between before you go on stage again. So your adrenaline drops.
Mhm.
It really does kind of wear, and then we spike it again for another hour. After that second show, you're not like physically like I just went to the gym or I just ran a marathon tired, but
Mhm.
you're tired. You are tired.
Mhm.
I do get tired of doing my material. I don't know how else to put that. I because I'm hearing my own voice and those jokes but for me, I feel like I owe it to the people who've never seen me before, not to do 25 minutes of new material.
Yeah. And
Because-
that you have different audiences too, so they might react differently, right?
No. Yes and no, like a little bit to a point, but you hope that with your if I was traveling around and nobody knew who I was,
Mhm.
that would be yes. But generally, the people who are coming to my show know who I am, so it's kind of like-minded people in every city.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does.
Right? Because if you're going
Same
to
interests,
a
yeah.
if you're going to a Florida Georgia Line concert, whether it's in upstate New York or in Texas,
You're gonna have the same turnout.
like-minded people,
Yeah.
the people who like that
Yeah.
music. So that doesn't change too much for me. But I do feel like if I do 25 minutes of new material, these people paid their money too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of cheating them.
Yeah.
So and part of that is bad. Part of that is bad for my career.
Mhm.
It really is because you, in anything you do, in order to succeed, you have to risk.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm scared to risk. I just feel like I don't want to cheat these people of their hard-earned money by possibly sitting around in 25 minutes of silence.
Yeah. Now, is your material, because I know you're a dad, so is your material a lot about, like, you know, being a dad, family life, or is it more just random shit that happens to you?
I don't do random stuff. My go kind of, I have a through line, a lot of through line.
Yeah.
I do talk about my kids, but not in a Bill Cosby kind of way. I'm not. Some people walk out and they're like, I can't believe you talk about your kids like that. I talk about my kids the way everybody else thinks about their kids.
Exactly.
And a lot of my act is about how I think we're raising a generation of spoiled, entitled, just softies, It's bad. I think people are not. You know, my parents were not so concerned with my feelings or what they were going to say.
Mine.
Right? And they basically it toughened you up.
Yep.
People are scared to be honest with their kids. I am honest with my kids. Some people would say too honest. I don't want to say that I crush my kids' dreams, but I mean I'm honest. I like to point them in the right direction.
Like, what's an example?
Okay, my youngest son told me he wanted to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
And I told him, man, we're Jews. Like that's never gonna happen. You could own a team someday. You want to own a team, but dude, Temple Beth El does not field a good squad. I'm telling you right now. So.
That's good though, because you're just stopping it before it goes too far.
Yeah, let's not put too much time into the NBA dream. You can play after school if you want, and I think it's great for exercise. Let's readjust your goals a little bit, and let's be honest that look. Adam Goldberg is never making it into the NBA. Like you never see anybody on YouTube like you see there on a couple years ago. There was this kid called the Yid Kid. And he was great in the Jewish leagues. He was dominating.
There's a Jewish league?
He was because they were playing. They were Orthodox Jews. They only played against other Orthodox.
Okay.
Well, he dominated the other Jews.
But
well, I could dominate. You're playing with everybody there is under 6 feet. Do you know what I mean? I mean, it's not a true. So it was.
Bunch of high-powered layups.
I think they would call them fundamentally sound. Isn't that the right word to say?
I think
That's
so.
another word for when you go, that's fundamentally sound. They're saying white.
What?
That's a nice way to say he's really good with setting picks and free throws. White. White. That's a nice way of putting it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Like, we can accept that. Like, we have good things we're good at.
Totally.
And things we're not so good at.
Totally.
You might have that one special person, but he was just kind of like a mistake. Like, he wasn't supposed to be that good about things.
There's no Jews that are playing in the NBA. Let's just be we're limited in our size. There very rarely you see a Jew over 6'1", and if you do, that's the one that made it through the desert. Do you know what I mean? Like he led our people. There's a couple of big ones that made it through the desert, and the rest of the tiny ones kind of we fell off. That was it. So
that's awesome though, because I feel like I feel like anywhere, because I was an intern a few years ago and now I'm doing this. So sometimes you have, people that will, come here and they're trying to get an internship position. Just like they walk through the doors. I'm like, first off, you didn't even get an internship, and why are you acting like you're so entitled? Like,
a lot of entitlement.
Take a seat. That's my favorite.
Do you know that right now, all across the country, a lot of human resources, they're inundated with phone calls from people who are just getting into their workspace because they say that their bosses yelled at them. And they have never been yelled at before.
Oh.
It's true. They're going crazy. First of all, you need to yell at your kids.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not even a mom.
You need to yell at your kids. I mean, they need to be put in place a little bit. And I'm just telling you honest. Like, my father, well, sometimes the honesty was a little too far. Like, this is, he's, as a parent, sometimes you say things to your kids that will affect them for the rest of their lives, and you have no idea what it is. So one time I was probably 12, and I was washing dishes, because that was my chore in the house. And my dad walked through the kitchen, and he looked at me, and he was like, man, you have a big forehead. And I've been wearing a hat ever since. I mean, he has no idea. When he said that, he had no idea that was what was going to happen, right? But, I mean, since that time, I was like, well, I'm not going out without...
He didn't think how that was going to impact the rest of your life.
The rest of my life.
I'll be honest, I have never noticed your forehead, though. Like, even when I've seen you without a hat, because...
But in my brain, when I look in the mirror,
that's what you say.
I'm like, NASA can see my forehead. Like, right now, they're lining up satellites and bouncing it off of my head.
But the good thing about that is you took that and you're like, all right, well, I'm never going to say that to my kids. Right.
Well, I would say this. I would say that I would say that I'm honest in a different way.
Yeah. Like the basketball.
The basketball thing, I'm honest. We have I have a teenage daughter, and my teenage daughter has I don't know how to say.
Is that getting rough?
Yeah, how do you say? Can I say boobs?
Yeah.
She's got a double D.
Okay.
And I had to buy her a bra.
Oh.
And I handed her the bra, and I told her, I just want you to know, you're like Spider-Man now. With great power comes great responsibility. And those are great responsibility. Please use them for good and not for evil. And I walked away. I was like, listen, I don't have anything, we're never talking about those ever again. You're on your own.
I want to see you.
I don't.
Cover them up.
No,
Sweatshirt
no.
at all times.
Yeah. I don't. And she's at an age where all her, like, where all the little girls are dressing, all those teenage girls are dressing like sluts.
What happened? I've like seen 12-year-olds walk around the mall, and I was like, I was wearing like Disney shirts.
Yeah. Look, I don't want my daughter dressing like a slut.
Like,
Abercrombie.
No.
Like, why is that?
I don't know. I don't want her. I mean, I want her friends to dress like sluts because that's kind of hot when they come over. Hey, let's have a pool party. Come on, everybody, get in the pool. Why does your dad always wear a robe? Just get in the pool.
He's wearing a Speedo.
Yeah. It's so wrong.
Oh, it is. It's fine though. It's good.
You okay with that?
So yeah, it's fine.
All right.
I'm not judging.
But you're
Judge reason.
now. Listen, I mean, I'm trying to be delicate with this too. Your dad went through the same problem that I.
Yeah, like he just kind of just like was hands off like with that shit. Like he was just like. So in your book, what are your topics?
My topic is, look, it was about a time in my life when I was a single dad.
Mm-hmm.
I was raising 3 kids by myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of stories about that.
That
And,
has to be good.
I just got a crazy text.
It's okay.
So...
Love when that happens. And,
somebody just
real.
texted me something about, so my friend just said,
Please.
I'm in New York, I can smell your pussy from here.
I don't even. We're gonna have to cut that out for sure. That's gonna get beeped.
I don't know what to
He
say.
sounds like a great friend.
It's just how we talk to each other, do you know what I mean?
I'm adding that one. I'm adding that to the lineup now.
Yeah.
When my buddy travels somewhere,
It's so
I'm
good. It's so good.
I'm-
It's something that I've sent to him before. I've sometimes,
If
I've sent to him before, hey, how's it going? Wash your asshole. That's it.
It's great advice. That is great advice.
Yeah, it is good advice. It is.
If you're at the beach, you never know.
The book. So it's a lot of, and a lot of the book is about stories from that. It's about when, it's a lot of, there's some funny stories about dating single moms who, an interesting breed on their own.
Sure.
Like there was one, I found out that single moms, people were always warned me against it because they're just looking for a dad. But not true. They are
Right.
just looking for sex.
Really?
Think about it. You're around kids by yourself all day.
Yeah.
So by the time they go to sleep, you want some adult contact. And a lot of single moms are in the prime of their sexual life.
So.
And they were amazing people. But some women were very aggressive. There was one woman who, she didn't want me to know anything about her life, her apartment, nothing.
Wow.
When I walked in, she said, be here at 9, kids go to bed at 8:30. When I walked in, there was a blanket by the front door with 2 pillows. I wasn't allowed past the blanket. That's where we had sex.
No.
There was a blanket, pillows, and 2 bottles of water. And I was like, 2 bottles of water? I only bring 1 to the gym. What do you think's happening? Like, are you know what I mean? Like, that's a little aggressive to back off a little. But she wouldn't let me pass the blanket. That was it. It was a great setup. You look crazy. You looked like you're shocked, but I was very happy with it. We had an agreement.
Yeah.
And the agreement was, you come over, you have sex with me, we don't have to talk, you don't need to know anything about my kids or my apartment.
So it kind of just keeps the emotional side out of it.
There was no emotion in it for her.
A lot of women, that's hard though. Like that's what's surprising.
Yes, but here's what it is for her, and what it was for me too. So I completely understood it. You are engulfed in children, with no time to go out to a bar and meet people. But as an adult, if you're honest with yourself, you also have needs. She had needs, I had needs. It was like a perfect arrangement.
How long did that last?
The sex?
Yeah. No, no.
Well, that's a personal question. I mean, really.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. You count me walking in. So.
No, I meant the arrangement.
I guess that went for about 7 months.
That's pretty good.
Hey, she got a boyfriend. She's like, I need a boyfriend. I got to be respectful. And I said,
So she wasn't even interested in exploring that option with you,
at all.
and you're cool with that.
Me?
Yeah.
100%. I've always wanted to be a piece of me. It was great.
I feel like most guys do.
Huh?
I feel like most guys do.
Not a bad. We just want to see what it's like.
Really?
There are 2 times in your life when you're a piece of meat. Well, not 2. There was a time for me. The other time is when somebody wants to have a baby. But that, because there's a certain time you have the baby, there's a certain all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's time, let's go, we got to do it. And if you want to have if you want to have a girl, there's a way to have a girl.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain this probably can't do it without being.
We're gonna be beefed. It's
Yeah.
okay.
But so the rest of the book is about how I think we're raising a generation of entitled, spoiled.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff about that.
So it's kind of like a funny parent.
It's a funny parenting book, but it also is a funny parenting book from a single parent. Like there's a lot of single parenting books from women's point of views.
You need one from a guy's.
This is from a
point
guy's point of view. And I will tell you something, like, women who read the book like it because in the traditional sense,
Mhm.
I play the woman's role.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But I have a lot of guys read the book, and they're like, this is funny, dude. It's just a lot more, like I'm telling people, it's a great Father's Day gift.
Mhm. Oh, and it's coming.
Yeah,
and
come on,
that's
Amazon.com.
up.
Father's Day gift.
Looks like I know what I'll be getting my dad.
Really?
Yeah.
I think.
He's not a big reader, but I got him like shit my dad says, and he was like crying, laughing.
I'm
He's
telling
like, this
you,
is my dad.
He will like this book. Because it's, like I said, it's a guy's point of view on parenting. It's a lot of stuff about how things are a little soft. It's funny stories, but it's good stuff. It's good stuff. All pretty good reviews.
And what's it called again? Just so
It's
you
called
know
It
what's
Takes
now.
Balls, Dating Single Moms and Other Confessions from an Unprepared Single Dad.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
How did you know you wanted to write a book?
I Didn't.
You just did?
when I was single, I couldn't afford therapy. So I would go into my room, and it was a really, we lived in one bedroom, literally. So it was 3 kids,
Wow.
me,
Where?
in LA.
Okay.
My oldest son, at one point, decided he wanted his own. He was like, Dad, I want my own room. And I was like, this is the room. So I don't know.
This is not how it works. Go get some
Yeah.
cardboard and build a wall if you want a
He
room.
said,
Build
can
a
I
fort.
sleep in the closet? And I said, yep. So he made the closet his room.
No.
Yep. But so when you're in that situation, for me, I needed to vent.
Mhm.
So I would sit in front of the computer and just literally, it first started out as just stream of conscious. And it was more therapeutic and cathartic, and I was just typing emotions, and I can't believe this is, where am I going? And then those turned into typing out stories from the day. So when I got rid of all the emotional stuff and all the, woe is me, and just kind of started to own it a little bit, and just started to focus on the stories, I was like, there's a lot, because it's a lot of, look, I was surviving on maybe $1,200 a month, maybe. So how do you do that?
LA.
Yeah, so there's a lot of funny survival stories, cutting corners. We used to go once a day there was a supermarket named Ralph's, called Ralph's in LA.
Mhm.
We'd go to Ralph's, and I'd put the kids in a shopping cart, and we'd go to the warm food section. And they thought it was a restaurant. They would order their food. And then I would walk around the store and give them I pretend to be a tour guide. And point out things. To your right, we have Oreos. Oreos, little people know they're from the moon. They were like, ooh, and they'd eat their food. We get to the end of the store, they'd be done with their food, and we'd walk out. And my youngest, my son told me once, he was like, Dad, he said, are we stealing? I said, not technically, we're not leaving the store with anything. So, no. But I couldn't afford to feed them. So one meal a day, we went to supermarkets and ate the hot food. And is that technically stealing? I guess. Maybe, but we did what we had to do.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stories like that.
That's incredible, though, and I see what you're saying now. It's something you can kind of like look back on and laugh now, but
Yeah.
you're just like, she got creative with it.
I had to, and there's funny. I got some stories about, I had also a Saint Bernard who lived in that one bedroom, and my neighbor. Yeah, it was a little. But that Saint Bernard got into it with my neighbor's dog, And my neighbor, you know, the dogs. Both
Yeah.
of them were whatever, nobody's fault. And my neighbor was an angry older guy, and he called Child Protective Services on me, and lied and said my kids were walking, like on a tightrope on the balcony on my balcony.
Circus
right?
kids?
What's that?
You got circus
They
kids?
were walking on the edge of my balcony, right? On the second floor. So Child Protective Service came over. It ended up being the funniest. He ended up being a swinger.
No.
He walked in, his suit didn't fit. First of all, his suit were like, it was 3 inches too, it looked like the suit he wore at his bar mitzvah. And he just had not updated it. It was like 3 inches too short everywhere. He was dirty. And he was there for about an hour, and he was like, yeah, no, it's clear this guy, because I told him the story. He goes, it's clear this guy has it in for you. It's clear these kids are loved. It's a fine environment, all this stuff. And he was like, but, so you seem cool. And I was like, thanks, man. And he was like, how cool are you? And I was like, I don't, pretty cool. You know, I didn't know what it was like, how cold are you? Ice cold. You know, I didn't know what to say. I was like, pretty cool, I guess. And he was like, my wife would really like you, man. And I was like, swinger. CPS guy was a swinger. I mean, it's a good way, by the way. Smart move on his part, because he.
Did you follow through?
Did you?
Well, if I thought I was getting a ticket, I would have fucked his wife. I mean, let me start that over. If I thought I was getting a ticket, I would have gone over and had sex with his wife, but I wasn't getting the ticket, so I didn't have to.
You didn't. So okay, you
But-
probably should have said something.
But a lot of good stories. A lot of good stories. Some good Disneyland stories.
I'm excited to read this then.
It'll be fun.
My mom was a single mom, so I feel like there's like a lot of things I can kind of
Absolutely.
take from that too,
Absolutely.
which makes it all better. Well, is there anything else before you leave that you would like to tell our listeners?
It Takes Balls, Dating Single Moms, and Other Confessions from an Unprepared Single Dad.
Well, thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you for having me.